Welcome back to a holiday shortened week on the Rebel's Edge. Pete Najarian coming to us live from somewhere in California where they have a grotto. And I'll let you guys try to figure out where that grotto might be. And we'll tell you about the newest member of the $1 trillion Club. Back when I was on TV, I remember people telling us the law of large numbers would never let that happen. We've got more for you on today's Rebel's Edge. Bang.
I got it. The Playboy Mansion is phenomenal. I'm kidding about that one, but I'm not kidding about something else, though, John. I don't know if you knew this, but like a week or two ago, we had some unusual option activity in Playboy. And I'm not kidding. Now, you can read through the unusual option activity all you want there, but I'm actually not kidding. We did have some of that, so just to add to the humor of the whole thing, that's phenomenal. But what a
week. Grotto itself.
Yeah, the grotto time.
Well, like I say, we'll get to that $1 trillion market cap stock, Pete, that just crossed that.
Yep.
But it still does make me shake my head. And I think when people who are not mathematicians or have not really explored what it means when you start using terms like the law of large numbers says, no, that is not what the law of large numbers says. But funny enough, those folks are still saying that same crap on TV today.
It's unbelievable.
And they're probably saying it about Micron now.
Well, yeah. I mean, how long have we heard these idiots, literally idiots, talking about, oh yeah, it's a law of large numbers? It's like, what is that even? What are you telling us? But it is what it is.
Well, he's Pete Najarian, folks, out there for some charitable work out in California for the Lime Foundation.
Yeah.
And let's dive right into macro, Pete.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to say that Pete and I were lucky enough to be on with Connell McShane from News Nation on Friday. And Connell was asking me, well, a lot of Americans are saying things aren't so great, John. And he says, what do you think of that? And I said, I think they're stupid. And Pete did exactly that same thing. He started laughing. And it turns out, Pete, that the U.S., the Chicago National Activity Index released their findings this morning. And it turns out they were up 0.14 for April, significantly above expectations of down 0.03, indicating stronger economic momentum. So is it the people answering that poll question that are idiots? Or that's one possibility. Or is it that they just pull the same freaking unemployed people who pick up the phone when they call versus following where the money is, which is what Pete and I do?
Well, and talk about the numbers, the law of large numbers. How many people are they talking to, John? That was the thing I kept saying to Connell. I'm like, hey, look, they talked to 1,500 morons. And what they're missing out on is there's 350 million people here in the United States. So I don't know. It's been an interesting thing for a really long time, John, how we continue to still look at that, even though it doesn't really make sense anymore. But you know what? I see people smiling. I see people figuring things out. I see people going out to restaurants. Every restaurant that I was in the last 5 days out here in California, packed. And you know what? And it's just amazing to me, John. And by the way, that's with $6 gas right now out here. So gives you a little idea that people can morph and work around it. And you know what? Is it easy? No, but they can navigate around this. And that's exactly what people are doing.
Yeah. And I'd say the other part, Pete, is that those same people, many of them are people might say, well, yeah, but they're driving EVs. They're driving Teslas and other EVs, which they are. But I'll point out to you folks that California has the highest electricity costs, not just gas, but electricity costs in America. It's triple what most states are. So it's not just that their gas is $2 more per gallon, it's their electricity is 3 times as much, and they're still going out. So again, I think the people they poll were probably, again, unemployed, sitting around at home, just hoping that the phone rings again from whoever does that stupid poll, so they have somebody to talk to, because otherwise nobody would talk to those people. All right, Pete. Yep. What about the VIX? We finally got down into the 16s, right?
Yeah, we did. And as a matter of fact, just a week ago, John, we were at 18, and then we've pulled back into the 16s. And it's not, anything rocket science or anything, but the reality is that the volatility is coming down, 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 and a lot of that is relief that people are feeling. I mean, we didn't even really touch much about what's going on today. That's a very big positive, I think, is people are starting to look at the prospects of a peace agreement with Iran. And so with that being said, that gives a little bit less volatility into the markets. And we're seeing right now, I mean, you and I were just talking before we came on here, but I mean, the way that the NASDAQ is sprinting to the upside today is absolutely amazing. And with that kind of a move and with that sort of a backdrop, yeah, 16 is probably where we're going to stick for a while. Might get into the 17s for a moment or two, but I think we're going to stick into the 16s for a while.
Well, that prediction market bears out exactly what Pete's talking about, folks, because if you look at it here, 51% chance the U.S.-Iran nuclear deal by June 30th. So when you look at that possibility, and you see the millions of dollars that are bet on it, and the fact that it's up some 24% overnight, that's letting you know that a lot of people are putting their money where their mouth is. And again, to our good friend, Connell McShane, I trust that more than I trust a poll.
Yes.
Because people actually had to put their money down on this. You don't just get to, vote with no consequence. If you're wrong in a prediction market, you lose money. If you're right, you make money. Again, those are the people I'd rather follow, Pete.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you, John. I totally agree. Yeah.
Let's hit that $1 trillion club member,
the new
which
club
is none other than the one with Pete Najarian as the specialist or designated primary market maker for Micron. They hit $1 trillion market cap today. Basically the biggest intraday gain, well, since the beginning of May, which is only a couple of weeks ago. And UBS lifted their price target, Pete, to 1,625 from 535. And if you guys and gals, take a look at this, the unusual activity in Micron, you might notice what the price of the stock was at the end of March. At the end of March, it was $335 a share. Today, it's surging over $131, and it's 882. There's no splits in there. There's no reverse. There's no financial games going on here. It's just people are buying the crap out of this stock, Pete.
Yep.
It's just amazing.
And people were talking about memories over with, right? I mean, they said, well, we've talked about this, and now let's move on to something else. Well, they can move all they want, but memory still does count for something, John. And I think Micron's a great example. I mean, what you got up there right now, 335 to 882, I would say that they're doing something right still. And by the way, this gentleman from UBS with what he's talking about with his numbers, 565 up to 1,625 is not only just unbelievable, but the other side of it is, John, that of course, he's got it as a buy. I think they ought to have a new category. It must be a must buy. You must buy this because this guy has been right. He's been moving and continuing. And, the one thing that he was a little bit delayed on, but, who could blame him? It's only a couple of weeks, like you were saying, but where his price target was at 565 to move it all the way up to 1,625. I mean, it just shows you how fast this whole thing is playing out. And a lot of people are talking about all the different ETFs that Micron is in. And I think you've got all those numbers there, John, 391 of them. Just amazing. And you know what? They're in all these ETFs for all the right reasons. People are looking at Micron as that particular company. And what's going on in this world right now and the demand that they've got, I think it makes sense. Up 16% today. Again, not so bad.
Yeah. 391 ETFs have Micron within their top 15 holdings, folks. So when this one goes up like this, it's going to drag the market with it and certainly drag a lot of ETFs to the upside.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about space, Pete. I was recording again this weekend, another couple hours about space and about data centers up there in space and so forth. You guys will be seeing those soon, trust me. Just like you see the "it's not an option" commercials, you'll be seeing that one. But you should go to Market Rebellion and you guys should grab our space report, because everything in the space report is in the news today. RDW, which is Redwire, RDW, space and satellite stocks are rocketing higher. And yes, I did say that. Because, well, let's see, Firefly Aerospace, Intuitive Machines, which is symbol Lunar, LUNR, AST Space Mobile, all of these stocks are just running. And I bet you can guess what the catalyst is. It's one of Elon's companies coming public in a couple weeks, Pete, and people are trying to get into these. And we've listed these in our space report weeks ago. Even months ago, we were talking about Rocket Lab, RKLB. We talked about it since it was a single-digit stock a couple of years ago, Pete. Today, it went through 140 to the upside.
Yeah, it's a stock that's up, 30% or something like that, John. They also have a lot of short interest, which is going to squeeze the stock that much more to the upside. So, when you're looking at 13 to 16% shorts in this one, and, as we all know, this is all tied into the excitement of the largest ever IPO, right? We're talking about, trillions of dollars. I mean, it's unbelievable. And people, like you said, it is more and more something that people are just going after, and they're looking at everything in that space of space. And seriously, we've got another one that we're going to be talking about next.
Yeah, exactly. Viasat. So VSAT, folks, Viasat, because why make millions when you could make trillions? This one, they got a deal from the government, the Department of War, not the Department of Defense, because it's not about defense anymore. The Department of War, through, $300+ million, actually $437 million at these guys for space vehicle procurement. How about that one, Pete? Space vehicle procurement.
It's unbelievable, right? I mean, anything that's tied into space, John, is absolutely taking off. Pun is intended there.
Oh.
But it is, and these guys, the space vehicles, I mean, all the different things, they're up again. You can see that right there. I mean, it's just another nice move, more than 10% move to the upside. And that's what we're seeing across the board. I mean, anything that has anything to do with space, John, people are going crazy for it. And they're going to have their earnings coming out in 2 days. So that's going to be interesting as well. And they're going to obviously have all the commentary that's going to go with that. That probably, there's a good chance, I think, that could actually lift the stock again. So 2 days from now, keep an eye on it, May 28th. And if you look at where the estimates were for the earnings before, John, and where they are now, these guys are set to really take off. It could be really interesting.
Well, one more, Pete, and it does kind of play in a little bit to what we've been covering. I mentioned, data centers up in space and so forth. Well, why in space? Because it's 250 degrees below zero up in space, folks. That's why. So do you think you need to cool your data center in space if it's up there orbiting the Earth? The answer is no, you don't. And so a lot of the energy that goes into these data centers isn't just for the calculation. It is for the cooling, the fans, or the water circulation around, a submersible. So when you look at this one, Pete, MOD, these guys, Modine, they have basically high growth data center for basically long-term capacity of cooling systems. And it's not just fans. You don't get $4 billion for just fans. But this agreement, Pete, is as much as $4 billion invested in these guys to cool data centers, and that goes through 2029.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And yeah, like you said, goes through 2029. It's the capacity that they're able to do, the strong bullish side of things that they're able to do. I mean, this partnership is really going to be great. And you know, when you look at things and you look at the fact that this stock is up, like you can see right there, it's up 20%, not so bad. There's some shorts in this one too. They're probably not feeling so good about that, John, because of where they were at 260 and here we are now well above 300. They've got some debt, yes. They've got some cash burn, yes, but they're actually even getting a little bit of a little kicker before they start. So they're really in a great position, I think, going forward. And like you said, there's a lot of reasons why these high growth data centers are a big deal and something that people are really excited about.
All right, Pete, let's take a look at a young gentleman from the Naval Academy that had one heck of a year, because he was an unstoppable force at Navy. And I think a lot of you that didn't get to see the service academies play football are going to be shocked by what you hear and what you see in this video. So let's
becoming the first Navy defensive player in 50 years to be named an AP First Team All-American. And the NFL Combine still doesn't invite you. That was Landon Robinson's reality. The Navy defensive tackle dominated college football. 153 tackles, 14.5 sacks, back-to-back all-conference honors, 2025 AAC Defensive Player of the Year, and a Navy team that won 11 games and finished top 25. But somehow, the Combine said no. And that's where the story gets crazy. At Navy's Pro Day, Robinson showed everybody exactly what they missed. A 4.87 40 at nearly 290 pounds, elite agility scores, and one of the best athletic scores for a defensive tackle in the entire class. Suddenly, NFL teams started calling: the Jaguars, Jets, Browns, Chargers. But one team kept showing up more than anybody else: the Cincinnati Bengals. They tracked him for months, meetings, pro day scouting, top 30 visit. They believed in him before the league fully did. Then came draft day. Pick number 226, the Pat Tillman pick. And somehow, it became a full circle moment. Landon grew up in Ohio watching the Bengals because his dad was a huge fan in a house full of Browns fans. Now he's wearing the stripes himself. And after getting drafted, Robinson said, "It's a hometown team, so it's a blessing to be even considered by them." That's the thing about football dreams. Sometimes the biggest snubs create the best stories.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
They did. Yeah. But Pete, I'll tell you what I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. How many 5 foot 10 inch or 5 foot 11 inch T tackles have you seen playing pro football?
Right. Yep.
I mean, so is he a great player? Yeah, he sure is. But is there some reason that maybe they thought, wow, at 5'11", though, can he get, do the same things he did in college to a bunch of guys that the guards are the biggest guys in football, folks. Yep. Everybody thinks it's the tackles. It's not. It's the guards. And the guards are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Now, maybe he gets under their pads, Pete, and he's got a motor. I'll give him that. He's a strong kid. But let's see what goes on with this. I'll be rooting for him regardless.
Yep. I will be too, and I think you're exactly right, John. And I think a lot of that, we would have known at the Combine at least. Like, how long are his arms? Is he able to get those guys off of him and all the rest of it? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. But we sure are pulling for the guy because everything we've seen. And you want to talk about is there anybody more disciplined than these guys coming out of the academies? I mean, probably not. I mean, they are committed. So, kudos to him for actually getting to be able to be there in the hometown and getting drafted. That's big. I know it was late, but at least they did get him drafted. All right, John, on to the NBA. So the East Finals are now done. There was a sweep out there, and that sweep was done by the New York Knicks, who they haven't been where they are now in quite some time. And it's amazing what they've been able to do, and it's truly a team effort. It really is. But I got to give a lot of props, John, from a trade that was done by the Minnesota Timberwolves with the Knicks. And when you see what Karl Anthony Towns has been able to do in all of the different playoffs that they've been through. Big Cat, man. Big Cat has been balling. I mean, he has been absolutely balling. And the fact that they've crushed Cleveland says a lot, because Cleveland was one of those teams. Yeah, they were very good. Yes, they had a lot of different angles that they could attack you at. But I'll tell you what, getting swept by the Knicks 130-93. They went on a 20-0 run over the Cavs as well, John. So they did everything they needed to do. And I'll tell you what, Big Cat was out there scoring, and the team was scoring. First quarter, 28 points. Third quarter, 28 points. They absolutely dominated the game, and it just shows you how good they are. And I think whoever they go up against, because we still got San Antonio and we still got, OKC, that's going to be interesting, because that one's now at 2-2. Wembley's been absolutely unbelievable. I just worry about that guy, John, into the future, just because he's so thin. And, the NBA, I know it's not as physical as it once was, but, a guy that thin, it's just going to wear him down, I think, over the years at 7'4". But he did, so far, so good. 41 points in the first game, 21 in the next, 26 in the next, 33 in game 4. They're giving this thing, they're giving it a heck of a run. What do you think about that one, John? Is OKC going to be okay? Or are they going to get beat by San Antonio? Because it's starting to feel like momentum is starting to shift a little bit.
Yeah, I think the real issue, Pete, is SGA. And if he scores in the double digits, and they can put that big guy, that big center of theirs, back on Wembley and keep him from scoring 30. If they can keep him in the 20s, they can win. If he goes off and does 40 like he did in game 1, granted it was a double overtime, I know. But so let's say that in a single regular game, he might have been able to score 30. If they can keep him in the 20s, Pete, they can beat him. If he scores into the 30s, I don't think they have an answer for him. And if that's the case, I think OKC goes down. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that would be shocking, because they've been so good, and they've got the MVP, and they've got all this momentum. And last year they did well, and everybody's sort of expecting him to be back there again and win it again. So it would be really, really interesting if San Antonio was able to take them down. All right, John, we got a little bit of baseball, and I thought this one was so cool, because you and I talk about these guys, the batters, and all this kind of stuff. But how about this guy, Mizorowski, for the Brewers? He had 57 pitches that were over 100 miles an hour that he was throwing in a game the other day. He had 12 strikeouts, but here's what he hit 101 miles per hour on 40 of his pitches, and he hit 102 miles an hour on 22 of his pitches, and 103 miles an hour plus on 3 of his pitches. So here we are with the Milwaukee Brewers, and yes, they are one of those that you and I were talking about just last week, John. We were talking about these payrolls and how the Yankees and the Dodgers and all these guys are $300+ million. And these guys, the Brewers, $127.9 million payroll. So will it stay there? It probably will, but they're going to probably have to want to pay this guy a little bit more than they're paying him right now, because it's unbelievable what this guy's doing in Major League Baseball, and he's healthy, and he is whipping it. And you said some of his stuff is getting as close and even over 104. It's unreal, right?
I agree, Pete. It is a big deal. And major league hitters, that have faced everything in their careers, have a hard time catching up to anything over 100. Yeah. And you can just see it by the players that throw that, like Paul Skynes or whatever. If you can throw in the 100, 101, 102, there's very few players as good as Judge is, or as good as Ohtani is. I mean, It's really hard to catch up with a ball that's that fast.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It really is. That guy's incredible.
Well, thanks for joining us today, folks. We appreciate it. We hope you tune in again tomorrow because we'll be back with another exciting Rebels Edge on Wednesday. And what time is that one tomorrow, Pete?
1 p.m. Eastern time, John. We're going to be here.
Right? What time is that one?
It should be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. 1 p.m., baby.
All right. So, and feel free to tweet Connell McShane about whether or not people are stupid that think that the real numbers are wrong, and instead it's those 1,500 unemployed people that the pollsters call. See you tomorrow, everybody.